guys, welcome back, and this is our final lesson for today, our final lesson for this week. So we're going to have a history lesson, and what we're going to talk about today are Celtic round houses. And if you don't really know what I'm talking about, except that I'm going to talk about some houses which are apparently round, don't worry, I'll explain everything. So what I want you first to think about is how we live today. Yeah, so we already talked about this in our geography lessons, how we now mostly live in apartment buildings or in houses. Of course, we mentioned that there are people who live in different types of homes, such as, for example, caravans or igloos or something like that. But most of us do live in homes and buildings. Now, of course, this wasn't always the case. So we humans have been around living on this planet for quite a long time, and we didn't really figure out at first how to build houses like we know how to build them today. Yeah? So simply the things that we use today to build our houses did not exist in the past. So what did people do? Obviously, we talked about how we all need a home because we need a shelter, if nothing else, yeah? Sheltering ourselves from the surroundings, from animals, from the weather, from the cold, from the sun is very important for us. And honestly, we need it to survive. So people have always found different ways to keep themselves safe and give themselves and their families shelters. So what we're going to start doing from today and a few following lessons, we are going to talk about different homes that people used to live in before. Now, the first type of home that we're going to talk about is called a Celtic round house. Now, I'm going to tell you all about it, but let me just start with a little introduction. So why is it called Celtic? Okay, because this type of home was made by people who were known as the Celts. So the Celts lived in Europe, and they lived in many different parts of Europe, to be honest, including the UK, the United Kingdom, the Great Britain. Okay, so they lived there approximately 2,500 years ago, which is a lot. So just for you to get an idea how long that was ago, at that time, of course, there were no houses like we have now, but there were also no vehicles, so cars, trains, planes, no electricity didn't exist, okay? And basically phones, of course, internet, none of that existed. So almost anything that we're using today did not exist at that time. And even further on, the food that they ate was different from what we eat today. So for example, you can live in Chile, but eat food that grows in a completely different part of the world, yeah? We have it shipped in on ships or planes, but back then, there was no way to do that, and the people could only eat what was in their immediate environment, so what was right there, next to them, okay? So these homes that the Celts live in, as I said, were round, yeah? And I'm not going to actually show you a little part of a video, and this video is going to give you a peek into the inside of their home. And what I want you to pay attention to while watching this short part of the video is how many windows can you count? So one more time, your question is, look at what I'm going to show you now and tell me once we're done, how many windows did you see? Okay, so I'm starting now. I hope you can see this well, guys.
In here, past Boris the Boar, is our roundhouse we've got to use for the week. It's fantastic. We've dressed our roundhouse with lots of props. We've got animal skins, spears, shields, a war trumpet called a carnix, and our fire going. And as the week goes on, this roundhouse is going to be more and more lived in. We've got swords here, and the chieftain's chair, so I get the best seat in the house for the week. We've had lots of good questions from the kids today about the Iron Age. They've been learning about themselves. The Celts is on the curriculum, so schools are keen to get interactive interpreters to come in and teach about the life. So the kids get to try out the props, smell the smells, cook the food. And on Wednesday, we're going to be having a full day with the class where they're going to get in contact.
Okay, so if you took a closer look, trying to find some windows, maybe you've noticed that there were no windows at all. These houses didn't have any windows. They only had two little openings where first was, of course, the door where this man entered the house. So they did have one door, and on top of the roof of their house there was a little opening. Why? They didn't use it to enter or exit. It was used for smoke to escape, okay? So when you prepare food in your home, you know that you need to cook something or you need to bake it, so you need the heat from a stove or an oven. But back then there were no stoves, there were no ovens, there were no cookers. So what did people do? The Celts, had fire in the middle of their house, and they used the heat from that fire to prepare their food, but also to keep them warm inside their house. Yeah, so this is one of the reasons why they didn't have windows, because through windows the heat can escape and the house inside gets a little bit colder. And also why they had the hole on the roof. Well, when there is open fire, it makes a lot of smoke. And smoke is actually really, really bad for us. We do not want to inhale to get the smoke inside our lungs. So they had those holes on the top of the roof, so the smoke from the fire could escape through that hole. Okay, so I'm going to show you some more. I'm going to tell you actually a little bit more about their homes now. I'm going to show you some pictures and we're going to talk about it for a little while. Okay, so I hope you can see this well. It says Introduction to the Celts. Remember, that is the name of the people that we are talking about today, and while exploring their homes that they lived in. Okay, so the period in history when they lived is called the Iron Age, because people were using a lot of tools made of iron. So they, as I said, they lived in Britain and Ireland mostly, but actually you could also find them all over Europe. And here you can see some typical clothing that they wear. You can see that this woman is wearing a spear, which is made of metal, the tip of it, some metal coins, and a sword, which is also made of metal. Okay, so these are their homes. This is what they look like from distance. So you can see that the base of it is a circle, yeah, and the top of it is like a cone. Okay, so you have a circle. Imagine this: a circle on a base and a cone on top. Yeah. Okay, so what about their houses? Let's read a little to see what it says. It says there would be a fire in the middle of the house, which I already told you, which was one large room, and the smoke escaped through the small hole. So the thing is, if you in your home have your own room, have some special place for yourself, people in this time didn't have that luxury. They would all spend all the time when they were inside their homes, they would all be together in one room, because that's all there it was. Yeah, there was only one room. Now, it says houses were often built near each other on top of hills, and they were built like that together so they could protect each other. Yeah, so they're together all in one place. Okay, so this is a picture of an actual Celtic roundhouse. So you can see the base is here. There's only one opening, which is the door, and the roof is in a shape of a flattened cone. So the house had no windows. Okay, guys, now look, this is the roof. Okay, so you can maybe see here that there are some straws, yeah? So it says, the roof was made from straw with mud placed on top to keep the warmth in, yeah? So they would put a lot of these straws and then a layer of mud above and in between the straws, okay? The mud would dry, this would keep everything in place, okay? And it would keep the heat inside. Now take a look here. This is an actual wall of the house. Now what do you think? What did they use? Did they have bricks back then? No. The walls of the house were made of wattle and daub. The daub was made of a mixture of clay, straw, and animal dung. So basically they had to make like a construction of wood, yes, that would support the walls, and then put in this daub, which is like a building material. Okay, and now look at the inside of the house. You can see here that they have different kinds of decoration, yeah? So they were trying to decorate their walls to give a little bit better appearance to their home. Remember, their homes were very dark as the only light came from the open door, if it was open, but usually it wasn't, because you would want to keep warm and you wouldn't like any animals or unwanted guests to come in, so you would close the door. So the only light actually came from the fire. It was quite dark, and they tried to make up for that by using these decorations of beautiful bright colors, yeah? So you can also see some different things they were using, and I think this is a bed. Okay, what do we have here? So you can see this is the fire in the center of the home. Okay, it provided warmth, light, and heat for cooking. And what is this? This is the top part of the roof, but the picture was taken from somebody who was standing under it from inside the house, okay? So imagine that you're now inside, around the house, you're looking up, you can see the tip of the roof, and you can see this hole. So let's remember, the hole was for the smoke to come out. Smoke is poisonous for people. And then Celtic women used the loom to weave cloth for clothes and decorate wall hangings. So here you can see this big tool. It's called a loom. And she's making some sort of tartan. So what does this do? It's a big machine, let's call it. And women used it to make fabric, to make cloth. They would probably be using wool from sheep or something like that. Okay, and now inside the house, we're still inside the house. So this is just here to remind us when we see so many people in one picture, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, that they all shared one single room in the house. Okay, so what would it be like to live in a Celtic round house? How do you imagine that life was like? Would you like to live in a house like that? Would you maybe just like to go, take a peek, try it out for a day, but then come back to your own home? The way these people lived is very, very different from how we are living today. And now, how are we going to show what we learned today? So I have a task for you, and this task is 2 things. You're going to have to draw 2 things, okay? So I sent you a worksheet, okay? I didn't print it out because my printer is not working. So look here. You are going to draw a Celtic roundhouse. And you're going to draw it both outside and inside, okay? So first you're going to draw it outside, okay? When you draw the outside of it, it says, remember to include, okay? So once you're done drawing, go back to this list and check that you have everything that you need. And that is attached pointed roof. Attached means it's made of this straw and ground mud. then wattle and daub walls, then herbs or plants hanging at the door, and a door with Celtic carvings on it. Yeah, so decorations. So this is what you can do for the outside. And then for the inside, so we said that the base of the house is in the shape of a circle, okay? So look here you have a circle. So here you need to make a plan. So maybe you remember that once at school, we made a plan of our classroom. We said, imagine now that a little bird flew into our classroom. So let's try to draw what she can see from the top of the classroom. So you're now going to imagine the same thing, yeah? Imagine that you maybe managed to climb Celtic Roundhouse. You know, there is a hole on the roof, and maybe you're peeking. So what can you see here? Down here on the floor, which is round. Okay, so of course, here in the very middle, you need to put a fire. Okay, but what else is here that you can add? So it says, fire and cauldron, benches, animal skins, low wooden table, wooden chest, loom. So these are all of the things that you can add, okay? And look here, you can see how these curved lines, we talked about it in our previous lesson, the curved lines of this circle are interrupted here. In a plan, that means that here is an opening. So this is the only opening a Celtic house has. So this is the space for a window or door. No, it's not window, sorry, door. These houses had no windows. Okay, please try to do this and send me that picture. Feel free to decorate, color it in any way you want it. But how to get a better idea of what these houses look like. So I sent you 2 games that you can play. So one looks like this, okay? And here you can find many different games, okay? It says in the round house, build a hill fort, design a torque, or whatever. There are several different things. So let's try this one, in the round house.
Welcome to our roundhouse. You just have a look round till the porridge is ready.
Okay, so you can see these 2 men sleeping, okay? And here you have pictures of different things. So if you... A spider attacked him. So if you click on any of these things here in the big screen, there's going to be a little pop-up story, okay? Oh my gosh, he has a teddy. Okay, so let's try to click on this thing here. It says bronze shield. Guion's iron shield comes in handy for fighting other tribes. Okay, so you can go through these games and get a better idea of what these homes look like and what their lives were like. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Oh my gosh, that was another spider. I hope you enjoyed these lessons and that you remembered many things about Celtic round houses. I will see you again on Monday and live on Zoom on Tuesday, so you can tell me what you remembered from my story. In the meanwhile, have a great weekend, guys. Bye-bye.